Shabbat Shalom. Once again, we welcome you into our vast domicile to join us for, once again, this is the sixth one, 6+1, the Shabbat, the Unity Shabbat broadcast. And this is the preview, running less than a half hour. So we just want to remind you of what we're about and what we're about to do. Shabbat Shalom once again. And it is January 8th, and which is the 25th day of the 10th month, which means that next Friday is the new month, is the Chodesh, number 11. So we're going to be having a phone conference at noon. You're welcome to join us. If you need to find out information, just text us. I'm going to give you the text number. Our text number here is 718-219-5247. That's 718-219-5247, if ever you want to hook up with us. Annie Mae. All right. Shabbat Shalom to you. And Regina. All right. Thank you. Good to see you again, brother, sister. So we're all going to be signing off at roughly a little less than 11:30 to hook up with the Your Arms to Israel. That's what we do. We try to do this once a month or thereabouts. And let's see. And again, if you want to contact us in written format, you can write to Beth Tefilah, as you see it on the description there. That's P.O. Box 170384, 170384. Ozone Park, New York, 11417. Ozone Park, New York, 11417. So there you go. You're up to date with us. And again, it's a blessing to come together and anticipating good things. I'll be speaking a little bit later on in this meeting. In fact, doing a subject. We should have two messages and some worship and different things going on there. And let's see what else. Chodesh 11. And again, Your Arms to Israel. Remember that. And that's the Yati group. Okay, so what we do each Shabbat, we welcome you profusely and express our gratitude for being with us. Catherine, Shabbat Shalom to you. Amen. Amen. So we are just about ready to get rolling here. Just about the time we get rolling, we're going to have to stop. Okay, so buckle up for the next couple of minutes, and we're going to hit up on our normal function of bringing in the importance of Shabbat, why we're doing this, why not tomorrow, the first day of the week, whatever. And we don't see a mandate for that. It's always Shabbat. Even the Greek phrase on the first day of the week actually translates as on one of the Sabbaths, because the Greek translation of that refers to Echad Shabbat. Okay, and if it was a day of the week, the word Yom would be there, which it's not, and the word Shavua would be there, which is week, one, first day. Echad means one. It's not first. Echad, on one of the Shabbat, one of the Sabbaths. So we know that there was some finagling going on in some of the translations that we have. So anyway, read from cover to cover and see if there's any verse that says, that Sabbath business, it's done. We're done with it. Nowhere. In fact, it's if you love me, keep my commandments. And the Torah is our constitution, the Torah, which there are some things that we can't do now that are written in the Torah concerning the prophets. Shabbat Shalom to you, William, as well as Catherine and Hannah. There's some things that we can't do, but the things that we can do, there's no reason why we can't be doing that, and why Yah gives us His Ruach in order to do this. So anyway, let me look through the scriptures here, and again, we pronounce the name of Yah as Yahuwah. Yud-He, Vav-He, or Waw-He is how you would pronounce it in the ancient Greek, ancient Hebrew rather. And So we say the name. We don't fall to rabbinic tradition, which says no. The only person who can ever say it is the Kohen Hagadol, the high priest, and the only time he can do it is on Yom Kippurim, the Day of Atonements, and wrong on both counts. If you look in the Hebrew from Bereshit to Malachi in our traditional Bibles, we see the name, the Yod-Heh-Vav-Heh, throughout. That's his name. How can we call upon him if we don't know his name? It's just like sending a letter out off with no address needed. He'll get it. Well, it's nice to address an envelope with the name, where it's going, and that we don't pray amiss because we don't know who we're praying to, and we elevate the name of Yah. Okay, I got this again. Is held for review. Oy. Anyway, so why Shabbat? Why Shabbat? Indeed, why Shabbat? We look at the book of Shemot, the book of Exodus, right? In the giving of the commandments, and in fact, we believe that Shabbat was observed as many of the commandments were observed prior to Sinai, but this is the codification of a document, okay? And Exodus 20, verse 11 says, in the course of the giving of the commandments, the mitzvot, Yahuwah blessed the Shabbat day and made it kadosh, made it set apart, made it distinct, and he desires us to be distinct to him. And that we have one Elohim, not several, and that our Elohim is called by the name Yahuwah. And when we see Shem, which is name, yeah, it represents his authority. Yeah, it represents his teaching. But that's all together. His name, his personality, what he represents, and especially in the Tanakh, we have all these names that are given that have meaning for the personality of these individuals. Avram to Abraham, and Moshe out of the waters, and so on and so forth. There's a lot of the names have significance, and what more so than the name of the creator of all things. Okay, he wants us to be distinct, wants us to be holy. And in Exodus 31:13, again, that palindrome 3113, we see, as we read each week, we say that Yahuwah, the eternal Yah, is speaking to Moses, says, speak to the Bnei Israel, speak to the children of Israel, and say, above all, top priority, my Sabbaths you shall keep, for it is a sign between me and you throughout your generations, that you may know that I am Yahuwah who sanctifies you. So again, it's top priority above all. My Shabbatot, which is plural, speaking of the 52 weekly Sabbaths, plus at least 7 additional Shabbatot, Sabbaths, that are listed in Leviticus 23 when it talks of the seasonal Moedim, the seasonal appointed times. You shall keep it. And the word for keep is shomar, which means to guard, to protect, to observe, to watch over, to let's see, we observe, we keep, we honor, we guard it. Shomar has many different dimensions to it, but it doesn't mean take it lightly, basically. For it being the concept of Shabbat, is a sign between me and you throughout your generations. So there's no expiration date throughout your generations. And it is an ot, it is a sign, it is a covenant sign of approval. It is a sign, you shall keep it as a sign between us throughout your generations. And indeed it is a sign, a covenant sign. The children of Israel were banished from their land because they failed to keep the Shabbatot of the land. Is the primary reason. So above all, we should keep. It is a sign, an oath between us throughout the generations, and in doing so, that we may know that it is He, the giver of Shabbat, the giver of Torah, the giver of life, who makes us kadosh, who makes us holy, who sanctifies us. The day is sanctified, and we are to be sanctified. And in the keeping of it, we meet up with each other. The Shabbat is a gift that Yah has given to us, and we will keep it. He made it kadosh, and he expects us to keep it kadosh, to keep it holy, to keep it set apart, to keep it distinct. And we, as we generally do, we go to Isaiah 58. Just want to keep an eye on the time here. Okay. That's right. God is only a title, and can be any God, right? There's the Elohim. You have to be distinct, just like when we say holy or set apart. Some things are set apart for destruction. Some things are set apart for evil. Some people whose hearts have become so darkened, they are holy people set on evil. So kadosh, to be set apart, is to be set apart for Yah, to be set apart for the purposes of life and for healing and wellness. That's why shalom is so important to understand, complete, to be perfected. It's a working peace, that we have peace, not just as a quiet day out there. It means that we're well in our bones, and we're able to function and to think. And Shabbat is the day on which we stop. It's a huge stop sign. And most people don't understand that Shabbat is a day to stop stop um, our general activities of the week. We stop from our work, and we also stop from our shenanigans. And we're going to see that in the message I have later on. Is that there be no guile in us, that there be no falsehood in us, that there be no nonsense in us, that we stop. Shabbat is the day to stop what you're doing. Oh, that's right, it's Shabbat. And we're going to see, as Yeshayahu Hanavi, Isaiah the great prophet, uh, tells us how to keep the Sabbath. Okay, well, that's good, right? We say keep Shabbat. Well, how do we keep it? How do we shamar the Shabbat? We keep it, we guard it, we watch over it, we observe it, and we protect it. It's wonderful. So we don't want to pervert it. And what does it say in Isaiah 56? In fact, it says, those who don't desecrate my Shabbat, don't desecrate. How do we defile and desecrate the Shabbat? By ignoring what Yah wants us to do on it. So let's see. Verse 13 of chapter 58 of Isaiah says, if you turn away your foot from the Shabbat, okay, turn our foot, which means activities, turn it away from the Sabbath, okay, and from doing your pleasure on my holy day. And again, the time is here where the word says that we will be lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of Elohim, rather than lovers of Yah, okay? And if we call the Shabbat a delight, we call it delightful. Now, how do we do that? We don't do our own pleasure on his holy day, but we call the Shabbat a delight. And we call the holy day of Yahuwah honorable. What next? And we shall honor him. We call Shabbat honorable. We shall honor him. The quality of the gift, not the financial value, but the quality of the gift reveals a lot about the giver. And Yah is the giver. And he wants us to be giving, always mindful of the concerns of others and helping each other, mourn for each other, mourn with each other, and laugh with each other, cry with each other. That we are there for each other. It's not just our abilities, it's our availability. You need a shoulder to cry on my shoulder. I'm not going to fill you with platitudes telling you, well, this is what you need to do. This is what you got to do. This is what sometimes we have to just be still and know that he is Elohim. Be still and know that I am Yahuwah. And sometimes we need to do that, and we give over to his guidance and his protection and his comforting. Okay? So if we call the Shabbat a delight, or we call it honorable, and then we will honor him, how do we do that? It goes on to say, by not doing your own ways, nor finding your own pleasures, nor speaking your own words. So that means to basically sit down and shut up, sort of. It's the day. It's a Shabbat. It is a day. It's a delight. It's honorable. It is good. He made it so, and he expects us to keep it so, not to mess it up, not to fill it with rabbinic traditions, like the adversary. He filled the mind of Chava, but not just eating it, but looking at it, by touching it, adding all these additional things. Just keep the commandment. Keep it. Honor it. Don't add or subtract from it. Okay? We shall honor him, how? By not doing your own ways, nor finding your own pleasures, nor speaking your own words. Then, and only then, you shall delight yourself in Yah. So we call the Shabbat a delight, and by following the instructions on how to keep the Shabbat delightful and keep it in place, we will delight ourselves in Yahuwah. So we want to please him. How do we please him according to Yochanan Aleph, 1 John 5, it says, how do we show our love for him? By keeping his commandments. That's why in the Devarim, in the commandment keeping, is those who love me and keep my commandments. It's one another. It's like those who I'm married to and those that I'm faithful towards. Okay, well, that's kind of a given, that if you're honoring the marriage, you're faithful. So if we're honoring Yah, if we're loving Yah, then we're faithful to his word and do as he says. It's all for our benefit. It's all for our benefit. Shabbat is a wonderful gift. And in the doing, we come to know how wonderful Yah is, because he's given us just what we need. We need a day to unwind, and at the same time, to refuel, to hear the word. It's the one mandated day of the week to come together, to assemble. It's a Mikra Kodesh. It's a sacred assembly. And whether we're doing it virtually or corporeally, having each body together, we get the message out, and we consider his word. We think deeply about his word. As our friend Michael reminds us, that the word doxa is to consider, deep consideration. So the glory that manifests from him is something to deeply consider and turn us. You hear the expression of, lots of things that changed the game. That's the thing that changed my mind. That's the thing that made all the difference. Well, that's what he's doing. Yah is doing. He provides for us our daily bread, and he provides for us the one day of the week to come together to hear the word. And I'm going to be sharing a lot of verses concerning the idea of a sacred assembly, as opposed to one that's a sham. Okay, we will delight ourselves in Yah, and as a result, I will cause you to ride on the high hills of the earth. The high hills, you will be in the place of favor, the place that you are exalted. I will cause you to rise. You humble yourself before me. Listen to the words, obey the words, because my roadmap is one of success and health and well-being and joy. Simcha, true simcha, only can come from Yah. We can be happy about a great number of things, but his simcha is like a healing balm. It helps us to be restored, to be full. Shalom, the fullness of what shalom is, to be complete, to lack no good thing. And I will cause you to ride on the high hills of the earth, and to feed you with the heritage of Yaakov your father. Now, the heritage of Yaakov our father is Israel. Yaakov is no longer his name, it's Israel. And his heritage is to be of his people, of the people of Yah, to be those who are circumcised in the heart primarily. Okay? The children of Israel. We know that there's a country called Israel, and it's filled with people who call themselves Jews. Okay? Now, just like in the days following David and Solomon's reign, there was a division, the north and the south. The south was Judah, Yehudah. Okay, Yehudah, but the northern tribes were cast into the nations, and the nations, they were sifted through the nations, and over the years, Israel is now through all the different ethnos. There's no race of Israel. There's a people of Israel, and there's one blood, right? There's one blood, and that is who we come from. We come from all the four corners of the earth, and in the last days, Israel is going to be billions of people, not a few million. It's when you see the promises to Abraham, the stars in the sky, the grains of sand on the beaches of the world. They're talking about a huge number. And if you look in Devarim, the current number of Israel was to be multiplied by 1,000, which means that roughly in our era, it could be 5 or 6 billion people. So a lot of people don't realize it. But we also know that the influence of Israel the world is going to benefit from it. So you can have somebody from New Delhi come up with a cure for something, and you could trace his line back to Yaakov, back to Israel. You can have somebody in Botswana, Africa, who creates something, or who devises some method, or comes up with a diet or something. The influence of Israel continues to this day. That is the light. That is the light coming from Yah through them and through us. We come together as a people. It's a unique people, a kadosh people, set apart people. And that's why a lot of these folk from around the world are all of a sudden saying, why have we not been keeping Shabbat? Why have we not been keeping Torah? Why have we not been doing these things? Because in that first century, you look at the previous teachings, you see I have 2 parts on the Natsarim. It's all there. Well, not all of it, but there's a compelling case as far as who we are and who we've been forced to become by the Elohim of this world, not the Elohim of Hashemayim, but the Elohim of Haaretz, of the earth. And that's the adversary. So let's make sure who we're listening to. Where are we getting our information from? And again, read the story of Job. Read his account. And the problem is that most of the people did not know the full story. So a lot of people go off half-cocked thinking, oh, I got it all figured out. No, you don't. No, you don't. And that's been our problem as a race, is that we go off, we figure we got it all figured out. No, you don't. What did Mashiach said? You tarry in Yerushalayim until Shavuot, and then you'll be empowered to do this. But before you do that, stay where you are. Stay right where you are, and tarry in Yerushalayim and get empowered, and then get commissioned, become shlachim, those who are sent to the nations. Messiah said, I'm only here to find the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Now, we might say, well, that sounds kind of, then where do I fit in? Because, I'm not a Jew. Well, that's fine. You could be of Naphtali. You could be of Benjamin. You could be of any number of the 12 tribes. The New Jerusalem has 12 gates, 3, 6, 9, 12 on each side. And each tribe is represented of those gates. And there will be the Talmud, in the shliach of each of those of Messiah, the disciples who were anointed to spread the word, will be representing each of those tribes. So there's a lot yet to happen, a lot down the pike yet to experience. But so anyway, that's the importance, the rich heritage of Yaakov, your father. Those aren't just words on a paper. Get deeper into that. The heritage, the ancestry, the Torah given to Yisrael at Mount Sinai, Horeb, the place where so much has happened. Where so much has happened. We're reading that Elijah, after he defeated the prophets of Baal on Mount Carmel, he fled because Jezebel sent her messenger, essentially her malach, her angel, to tell him that he's going to die as so many of the other prophets have died, and he kind of flees. He's depressed. He wants to die. But Yah comes to him gently, and he sends his malach, his angel, his messenger, to comfort Eliyahu, to feed him. And those 2 feedings that he gives him is enough strength and in purpose that he goes to Mount Horeb. He goes to the place before he gets the word from Yah, and the word is delivered in a still small voice, because he knows that Eliyahu has been through a lot. Gently he delivers the word. Gently he makes contact with his Navi, his prophet. And he reminds him, hey, there are many who haven't bowed the knee to me. It's not all on your shoulders. I did not give that to you. Will you bear the whole world? That's for my son in the generations to come. And he will be sacrificed on this very location as well. So let's be prepared to hear from Yah. Let's prepare ourselves on every Shabbat to hear the faithful word. Shalom to you, Yaram Yahu. It was good to see you last night, Baruch Hashem Yahuwah. And again, check out our teachings. They're very much in line with what Yadi is teaching, and Shaliach has no reluctance about people checking out what we're going to say. And again, we don't have to be your primary source of information, but secondary or third, whatever. Those who are teaching the faithful truth, who are sticking to what the word is saying, not what we've been taught that it says, but looking, searching that with our hearts and our minds focused on truth, Emet Hagadol, the great truth. Let us come together. Let us reason together, as Yah calls us to do, and encourage each other and support each other and work on our unity. We pray for unity. We've been doing this for years, not tons of years, but the last, I'd say the last 6 years maybe. We've kind of focused. We left the building where he had been meeting, and we started meeting in other homes, visiting other commandment-keeping groups, and then we met up with Brother Shaliach, who was a good friend of mine 30 some odd years ago. He moved down to Florida. We lost complete contact, and then by a miracle, we were able to reestablish communications, and it's a blessing. And we'll both be sharing today, which is great. But again, think of that, the unity of our congregations. We're willing to put aside our normal service in order to show our unity. We can talk a good fight, right? But put up your dukes if you really want to enter into the ring. Not suggesting that fisticuffs are the answer, but you got to put your money where your mouth is. You got to, as Yaakov, aka James, says, you talk about how much faith you have. I'm going to show you my faith by what I'm doing. And ultimately, that's how we're going to be judged, by what we've done. And any idle word that came from our mouth saying, I'm doing okay. No, nobody is doing okay. Either you're 100% yes in Messiah as he is. He's Cain, he's not Lo. He is 100% affirmative, moving forward, trudging through. Life is filled with pits and snares, and with his Ruach, we are able to navigate this course and move forward. And Yah knows that we can success. He knows that we can do it. So don't doubt yourself. Don't doubt yourself in Yah. As long as you're walking in truth. If you're stumbling, if you're kind of trying to juggle, not such a good idea. We need to be grounded. An electrician knows well what the word grounded is. If he's not grounded, he could fry, okay? So we are spiritual electricians, right? So we need to be grounded. We need to make sure we're wearing rubber soles on our feet so we don't get lit up like a Hanukkah bush or a Christmas tree. So I'm just looking at the time. It's 11:26. We're going to have to skedaddle right now. But we invite you this coming Wednesday evening at 7:30 to our midweek midrash, and we'll be concluding Psalm 139. And Herman and myself, we will consider whether or not we will let you know this Wednesday our next assignment. It's going to be good, though. I can tell you that much. And 7:30 Wednesday in the PM. And also next Shabbat, we'll be going through our regular service, and I'm going to focus on the weariness and people dealing with depression, people having serious issues. And a lot of people just say, don't worry about it. You're fine. You're fine. There's nothing wrong with you. There's a deep-rooted trouble in the people of Yah sometimes, and we need to be gentle with each other. And there's no shame. There's no fear or guilt involved in those valleys that we pass from time to time, unless we've deliberately put ourselves in those positions, which I don't think. A lot of people are hurting, and we're going to look into that next Shabbat at 11. So be there with us. Tell people about what we're doing here. I hope it's been a blessing. And each Shabbat, you'll see this punim, for better or for worse. And you'll see our Torah. We do the whole shebang. But for now, tune into Your Arms to Israel, a.k.a. Yati, okay? And we'll be with you in a little over 20 minutes, 15 minutes. Okay, so we say Shabbat Shalom, be well, and be strong, and be firm, and be kadosh, be set apart for Yah. That's why we're on the set apart day, to honor him on this day, and not to do our own shtick, but to serve him, and to serve him only. And we say, I was going to say Laila Tov. That's a quick day. No, but Shabbat Shalom, be well, and be strong and courageous. Shalom, shalom for now, and we love you. And again, we thank you so much for checking in with us. And so don't be a stranger. Come by. What's the big deal? And if you can't catch us, during your normal services, come and check us out. We're all recorded. All the messages are there. Check us. And thank you again for being with us. And we give you Toda Rabah. And we also say Shalom, Shalom.